talking about how to find your niche, how to gain your ideal client, how to find them, how to look for them, and how to create an irresistible presence. So, finding your niche, I'm sure you guys have heard this before. Everybody is usually telling you, find a niche, find your niche, find your niche. And it's like, okay, cool, but what if I don't even know what that means, right? So, these are just easy questions that I like to use with my mentees to really get your mind thinking on what it is that you want to specialize in and be known for in your business. So, first and foremost, make sure that you guys are writing these down and actually doing the exercises because this is what's going to help you. So, how many services do you currently offer? Now, I know a lot of beauty professionals like to be a one stop shop, and there's nothing wrong with that because obviously, it opens up your shop to many different audience types, right? But we really want to find the one thing that you're good at and capitalize off that. So, how many services do you currently offer? Let's say that you are a lash tech, but you also do teeth whitening, you do lash lifts, maybe you offer brow waxing, maybe Brazilian waxing, right? You're all over the place, okay? So let's say you offer 6 different services at the moment, okay? And you know that some of your services are preferred over others when it comes to your clientele, and that is totally normal, okay? Which of those services do you already specialize in or want to only specialize in? So, for example, like I said, I listed the whole list. You do lashes, brows, waxing, tooth gems, teeth whitening, you do all of that, right? But which one do you actually love, right? Which one do you currently specialize in? Which one do most of your clients come in for? So, let's say, they really love your Brazilian waxes, okay? Although you offer everything else, your Brazilian waxes are the ones that they come in for the most, and you're always getting booked for those. So Brazilian waxes is mainly what your whole schedule is filled up with, even though you offer 6 different services, okay? So let's keep that in mind. Which service out of the 6 can you see yourself doing for the rest of your life for free? So this is a really good question to actually find out what your niche is, okay? So out of the 6 services that you offer, there's no way that you are obsessed and love doing every single one of them. I'm sure you can find enjoyment, right? Depending on the client, but what is the one service that you really, really are passionate about? You love it. You could do it with your eyes closed. You could come in on your day off and do it. Like, what is the one service that you actually enjoy the most? Now, this could be different than what you specialize in, just saying, right? So let's say you specialize in Brazilian waxes because that's what your clients come in for the most. But let's say that's not what you want, that's not what you want for yourself. Maybe you're like, I really love lashing and I wish I could lash more, whatever. So let's go ahead and I was going to put lashes. Let's put lashing, okay? So I could see myself lashing for free for the rest of my life, okay? Although I specialize in Brazilian waxing because that's what comes into me the most, okay? Does your current clientele gravitate towards the service you love, or do they prefer something else that you do? So in this case, right? Well, I love to lash, but my clients prefer waxes, okay? So if these 2 answers don't match up, if number 2 and number 3 don't add up, like if you're not specializing in and bringing in the most clientele for lashing, and that's what you actually want to do, then this is where we know we have to start changing the way that you market and start gearing your content towards the lashing clientele versus the Brazilian wax clientele. Now, again, it's good to be certified in different services, obviously, especially if you want growth. You can train employees in the future to do services that you already learned. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, but to find your niche, this is how you do it. You find the one thing that you love, that you want to do forever, and then we capitalize off of that. And we gear all of our content and everything that we do towards that service to attract those types of clients, okay? So that's finding your niche. Now, your ideal client, this is another exercise that is very important that I want you guys to write down. So I know it seems funny and it's going to seem a little awkward because you might not have done this before, but this works 100% of the time for all of my mentees, right? So a lot of questions I get asked is, what content do I make? I don't know, like, how to make content for the people that I want to bring in. And it's like, where do I start? Well, here, okay? This exercise is we're making up a fake client. This is your ideal client, okay? So down to the name. All right. My ideal client's name is Wendy. Okay. This is the person that you envision in your head. Who is your ideal client that would not give you any issues, that would come pay? Like, this is the ideal person. So we're making her up. Okay, my ideal client is Wendy. Wendy for me is at least 35 years old. So she's 35 plus. Okay, so I know from this already, my content is not going to be geared towards women in their early 20s or 18 years old. You know, that's not my ideal client. So you want to put an age to this person because this is how we're going to figure out what content you need to make moving forward. Now, what does Wendy, who is 35, what does she do for a living? Okay, so for me, Wendy is a nurse. Wendy's a nurse, so that tells me Wendy went to school, went to college, Wendy took her career seriously, and Wendy definitely makes a good amount of money a year, right? So Wendy should not be concerned about how much you're pricing, okay? So Wendy, I'm gonna say that she makes, oh no, here I go deleting stuff, hold on. Okay, so Wendy makes, let's say she makes 150,000 a year. Okay, so Wendy makes six figures. Wendy has a good career. She makes six figures. And then what kind of car does Wendy drive? So I'm just going to say that Wendy drives a BMW. Okay. So what are things that you could tell from my ideal client? Well, my ideal client has her shit together. She makes money. So Wendy would be my ideal client because I want to bring in clients that are not going to second guess my pricing. They're not going to question my pricing. They're not going to give me any issues unless I perform a crappy service. That's literally how you find your target audience, guys. It's doing this exercise of literally putting together a fake person and how can you gear your content towards Miss Wendy. So Wendy is in her early 30s. Her, mid 30s. She's close to 40. Wendy's not going to be interested in my content of making trendy dance videos. Okay? More examples that I'm going to give you guys so you guys can understand. Wendy does not care for the trends. Wendy, is not on social media 24/7. When Wendy pops up, she sees my stuff. I remind her that, her appointment is coming up or whatever. That's what Wendy is focused about. She works at a hospital. She needs her lashes done all the time. She needs to be professional. So she's going to pre-book me at all times. So my content needs to be geared towards Wendy, okay? This is how I want you guys to do that exercise. Whoever your target audience is how you're going to base your content. So if Wendy was 19 years old and maybe she was a, office girl, maybe she just works part-time at like a doctor's office, she would be interested in the trending content, the funny content, stuff that the younger generation is into. And that's who you would gear your content to. But in this case, she's not. Okay, so make sure that you guys write that down and really think about the ideal person that you want. And I promise you that it's going to help you create better content for that person. Next is how do you create an irresistible presence, okay? So this is important. This is important because every time that you go on your business page, there should be a purpose for it, okay? Whether you show up on your stories or on your reels, it always has to be with a purpose. If you're not posting with purpose, then it should not be posted on your business page and maybe post it on your public page, on your private page, whatever, right? But for your business page, you want to make sure that everything you post is strategic because this is your online portfolio, okay? So how do we create an irresistible presence? Okay, so number one is asking ourselves, what problems do my current ideal clients face? Okay, so let's say going back to what I want to offer, which is lashing, I maybe want to transition from waxing to lashing. Okay, so my ideal client faces sparse lashes. She has a busy career, so she doesn't want to wake up early to put on mascara. So you see how I identified my target audience's problems according to the ideal client that we just made up, okay? So in her career, she might have sparse lashes. That's her main issue. You know, she doesn't like that she doesn't have full natural lashes. And then she also is a nurse, so she's busy. You guys know how nurse shifts work. So she doesn't want to wake up early to put on mascara. She doesn't want to deal with the hassle in the morning. She wants to just wake up effortlessly and roll out of bed, you know, brush your teeth, keep it moving, and head straight to work. Okay. So these are the type of problems that my ideal client is facing. How can I solve their problems? Well, that's easy, right? I can create custom lash sets for these ideal clients of mine, right? I'm going to build trust and rapport according to what it is that I post to solve their problems. Not just posting myself advertising, hey, you know, I have $103 lash sets this week, come book, I'm getting booked. And it's like, okay, well, you're not solving your ideal client's problems by just telling her that you're getting booked up, right? We need to convince them why they need to come to us by us solving their problems. And a good way to solve their problems is in the week where we went over your captions, right? Selling emotions versus just selling the service. So if you didn't watch that, go back and watch that. But that is how you're going to create your irresistible online presence.